Hi everyone, welcome back to the next instalment of Twelfth Night. Orsino sighed, then suddenly he had an idea that seemed so brilliant that for a moment he looked almost happy. You know, Cesario, I think you could gain Olivia's trust as quickly as you have gained mine, he said thoughtfully. Go and see her today. Tell her that if she won't marry me, I'll waste away and die. Me, my lord, gulped Viola. Orsino placed his hand on Viola's shoulder. You're my last hope, so I must try and persuade Countess Olivia to marry the man I love, Viola thought ruefully. Why does life have to be so complicated? Though she did not realise it at the moment, Viola's life was about to become more complicated than she could possibly imagine. Countess Olivia's parents had died when she was still young, and her uncle, Sir Toby Belch, had come to live with her. Sir Toby was short and plump, with white whiskers and twinkling blue eyes, and his love of wine and good food had turned his nose bright red. His closest friend was Sir Andrew, a man with a face as long and wrinkled as a bloodhound's. Since Sir Andrew was a bachelor, Sir Toby had decided that he would make the perfect husband for his niece, Olivia. However, Olivia's steward, Malvolio, protected her from all unwanted suitors, including Sir Andrew. On the day that Orsino sent Viola to plead with Olivia, Sir Toby and Sir Andrew were plotting together in the library of Olivia's house. If I could only be alone with her for 5 minutes, Sir Andrew grumbled. But Malvolio will not let me see her. He won't even give her my letters. My niece has given him far too much control of her affairs, and it's gone to his head, grumbled Sir Tony. Why, the other evening, the scoundrel actually had the impudence to tell me that I drink too much. The villain, said Sir Andrew. But I intend to teach him a lesson, Sir Toby said, with a mischievous grin. Mark my words, old friend. Before the day is over, Malvolio will be out of your way. While her uncle schemed in the library, Olivia was strolling in the garden with Malvolio at her side. With his skinny body and black clothes, Malvolio resembled a bony shadow. A young man called Cesario wishes to see you, my lady, he was saying to her. He brings a message from Duke Orsino. Tell him to go away, said Olivia, and her green eyes flashed as she tossed her dark red hair in irritation. I have, my lady, said Malvolio, but he says he will stand at the gate all afternoon if he has to. Malvolio sniffed. He is most insolent, young fellow. Oh, let's see him then, Olivia said wearily. Perhaps when he hears my reply, Orsino will finally abandon all hope of marrying me. When Viola entered the garden, Olivia pretended to be interested in the blossoms on a rose bush and gave Orsino's new messenger no more than a glance. Sweet lady, said Viola, now I see how beautiful you are. I understand why my master is so in love with you. Olivia, who hated flattery of any kind, snorted scornfully. Beautiful, she said. I have 2 eyes, a nose and a mouth like everybody else, if that's what you mean. Ah, so you are proud as well as lovely, said Viola. It is a pity that the Duke loves a lady with such a hard heart. Orsino doesn't really love me, Olivia declared. He's just in love with the idea of being in love. Go and tell him I cannot make myself love him just because he wants me to. She looked up from the roses, and as she did so, she saw quite the most beautiful young man she had ever met. Her head swam giddily, and her heart began to pound. Tell Orsino that I will never marry him, she said breathlessly. And then, come back to see me at once, Cesario. Why? Frowned Viola. To tell me how he responds to my answer, Olivia said with a blush. Viola bowed and turned to go, leaving Olivia alone with a whirlwind of thoughts and feelings she had never experienced before. One moment Olivia wanted to laugh out loud, and the next she wanted to burst into tears. She was confused that she did not notice Malvolio approaching. He seemed to drop out of the sky and land in front of her. I hope that young man did not offend you, my lady, Malvolio said. Offend me? Said Olivia. Why, no. I mean, yes he did. On impulse, she pulled a ring from one of her fingers. He bought me this gift from the Duke. Return the rings to Cesario and tell him I don't want it. Of course, my lady, Malvolio said smoothly. Where is the fellow? Gone, said Olivia. If you run, you'll soon catch up with him. What? Run? Gasped Malvolio. Then he bowed politely as he saw the angry green fire in Olivia's eyes. I'll go at once, he said. And we'll stop there for today.